Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Jankyard. I'm your host, The Treatment, and I'm experiencing technical difficulties right now. So let me try and get Killer on board because this is a disaster so far, and then we're all good. Yeah. Let me see if they'll probably at least hear you, and then we can figure it out from there. Let me see.
If everyone can hear me, I am Killer Cactus. I am not having any difficulties of any kind other than
Yeah.
I maybe cannot be heard or seen.
You'd think I'd have learned by now. But yeah, give me like a few seconds and things will be back to normal, I assume. How's it going, bud?
Oh man, slow time of year. Holidays coming up. Collection, Jankfest. Of
Yeah,
course, are the holidays I'm referring to. We're type, man. This is Ash's type season.
this is. I am super excited. Oh, yeah, I'm messing around with things.
We haven't had a deck reveal stream in a long time, so we need to get everybody in the chat. All 50 of us.
That would be
Game should be in the chat right now.
that would be very cool. For some reason, your video isn't showing up, so I definitely and mine is completely.
Is Kyle in the chat yet? I don't have it up.
No
I'm
one
gonna message
is.
Kyle and yell at him.
Yeah, yell at some people. No one has said anything, so that's fine. And I'm messing around with. Here, let's just put your face on because your face is nice and pretty. Can I just do that?
Beautiful feed, maybe.
Yeah, if I just put you
I
on.
messaged Kyle and told him to get in the chat. I should like at everyone in the Discord.
Do it. Just do
like,
just
get in the chat.
Yeah, just do it. Why not?
At everyone. No one ever does this. Is that even a thing? Does it work?
No,
give me, like,
no.
a-
Skak turned it off.
Did he disable it?
Specifically because I think people were screwing around.
I can't at everyone.
Yeah, so I gotta. So people are just right now being like, "What the hell am I looking at?" There's nobody on here. It's like yes, because I can't figure out.
Come in the chat, everybody.
Oh, there.
Let's get hype.
Yeah, things are slowly happening, but
I've already got the title of my Ashes Christmas Carol for this year picked. I have to write it still.
Yeah,
I'm very excited about it. Yeah,
that is intern number 2 gonna sing.
He will definitely be involved in the production. I don't know if he's the right one to sing this one.
Oh, okay.
It might have to be me just by virtue of
mature themes,
the material. No, just by virtue of the of what the song is about. It won't make sense for him to do it, even though his voice is better than mine. But he will be involved one way or another.
All right.
In his production.
Well, you've never disappointed. So
and he was very involved in the in how it was created.
Oh, okay. So he knows about it then.
Oh yes. It's basically his idea. If it made sense for him to perform it, then he would. He might anyway, just because he always does. But we'll see.
My video is, if you saw what I'm looking at right now, it is so bad. Anyway, let's talk about what we're doing tonight. While I putz around on this thing. So Carl is running the collection this year, and because last year was German and Chaos Theory, and we were part of the hosting. Oh, someone's in top. Yeah, Fritz. Just the whole shebang right now is a complete disaster. So yeah, just we'll get there. I clicked like reset scaling, and all of a sudden everything blew up in my face right as I was supposed to start. So thank you. You know, if you want to see what I'm looking at, there's progress. As long as I
All right,
stay
yeah, I can
in the middle, we're good. Um,
see
yeah.
like the top right of my background
Oh,
screen, and that's it.
and you can't
But
see like any of my head. Anyway, yeah. So Carl is running it this year. He put out. It was a little bit different. There was no like registration, as there tends to be. It was just like whoever's gonna send their deck who already knew that they had an invite. That was it. And then we only had 5 decks submitted until like yesterday, and then all of a sudden they came in. I was a little worried for a second.
yeah,
All right, we're
yeah, a bunch of us
making
lazy
progress.
qualified collection people. I got
Yeah,
my deck in at the last minute, or very close to it.
I I
Well,
don't
that
have
was
any
good.
confidence in my deck. I have not managed to play the last few months much of anything, and so mine's more of a whatever I felt could maybe do something, but no real hopes or dreams of doing well.
I apologize to anyone watching this. I'm gonna keep petting my dog. He's sitting right next to me and is starved for attention,
You can't actually
and
see
he'll
him
just
on
start
screen.
barking.
He's
No, pet
he's
him.
out of
Can you?
no, he's out of camera.
No, you can't see him.
Oh, there you go.
There he is. I'll show him for a second. He's very, very attention starved right now, and if I don't pet him like this, he'll just start barking, and I don't want that to happen. Disrupt the stream. So Uno, say hi to everybody. Hey, look at the camera. There you go. He's a good boy. Anyway, we're gonna look at some decks. I'm
Yeah.
psyched to do this.
So we're gonna look at some decks, and then we're actually also gonna be generating the pods, which will be really cool. So stay tuned for that, because that's the last step of today. We're probably gonna This one's probably gonna run long. We have 19 submissions. No, 18. Sorry, 18 submissions. I haven't looked at any of them. I kept them a secret from myself as well, because Carl had sent them in advance, and I was like, no, this is gonna be just the good stuff to talk about, and then we'll do the the pod formation. So even that is a surprise in and of itself.
Awesome.
Oh, if I cover you up, that there we go. Okay. Yeah. So let's see. Can I? Well, this is going to be boring to look at if I have to just show a full Excel spreadsheet. So let's bring up Ashteki, and that will make things better. Full. And you don't have them.
Helix, or are they Ashes dot? I
Or
don't.
sorry,
have them, no.
Ashes.live lists. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me just bring those up. Fit to screen, and
Why is calling me a deckhead? Although she's also calling you a deckhead, so I suppose it's okay.
Oh yeah. She's very supportive, which is great.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, this is gonna boop, reset, and there we go. All right. So let's transition over, and let's bring up. I'm just gonna go in order that they're in the list, which I think is the order that people submitted them in. And we'll talk about them as we go. Just for a quick reference, let's see. There, Carl did some stats. So, who do you think, Phoenixborn wise, is the most represented for the decks that we're gonna look through? So there are 13 different Phoenixborn. And
13 different ones.
13 different ones, and there are 18 players. So there's only a few that are actually duplicates.
Yeah, duplicated. I mean, I know what the answer I want to say is, but it's going to be wrong because this community never does the thing that you expect it to do. I would say Odette would be the most represented. I'm sure that's wrong though.
It is wrong. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was actually surprised as well. There's only one Odette list.
that's probably Matt,
Uh,
right? Matt, plain Odette.
Odette,
It's
yeah,
not me.
yeah, it's Matt. Yeah. Um,
Okay,
Ramia.
okay.
Yeah,
Ramia's in. There's what, three Ramias?
three Ramias exactly. That is the most
Okay,
represented, and then there are two Vickies, two Rowans, and two Kojis.
two Victorias.
Two Victorias
Good
in the
lord.
collection, and two Kojis, which we haven't seen in a while, and two Rowans, who doesn't even have a Red Reigns thing yet. So very
Yeah, well,
interested to see where this goes.
yeah, this is interesting for sure.
All right. So it seems like we've only got Mistreatment and Fritzy in the chat, but that's fine.
People will watch it. They'll watch it on the VOD. We'll
Oh,
get everybody.
and we've got
Yeah.
Mr. Bowman himself in the chat. So let me
Oh,
pull up.
Bowman's here.
Bowman's in the house. Let me pull up deck
All
number
right.
1, which is from Shadowfire. Let's do it this way. And
There's Carl. What's up, Carl?
he is bringing a Vicky deck. And I'll zoom in for people at home. There we go. So our first.
Can you send me the spreadsheet so that I don't have to
Yeah.
watch it on the stream?
That makes a lot
That'll
of sense.
be helpful.
All right, sending.
I can see it on the chat, but it's harder for me to see on my phone.
That makes sense. All right, there. I shouldn't be the only one with this privileged information. All right.
Okay.
So, first Vicky of the night. I know Shadow. I actually thought he was playing something else because he's been playing, I think, a Rowan deck that he really liked, something that we built together, and was very excited about it. So I'm surprised to see this, but as always, it is a keepsake Vicky. It has Shadow Prowler or Shade Prowler, sorry, Ruby Cobra and Royal Charm for that synergy, and then we've got two Paladins, the card of the year, I am assuming. Some Gates Defenders, Glory to pull it back, a Holy Knight, a little bit of spice there, and three Fork Lightnings, two Juggles, which is cool, Magnificence, some Fate Reflection, Figures in the Fog, and Golden Veil. So there's definitely a lot to like in this list. What are your thoughts? I'm going to be working on tech issues, so you let me know.
So I can do that. So spoiler alert: the other Vicky is mine. This is better than mine, I think.
Okay.
But I don't like that there's no Lightbringer. With five Battlefield and Divine, I really feel like there should be a Lightbringer book here. And part of the reasoning is because we're open deck list, right?
Yep.
And Lightbringer just makes people think differently and play around certain things. Even if you're not going to play it, I think it would be a nice threat to have in the deck. But I mean, I'm not sure I play any Divine decks without Lightbringer. It's just so good. But still, I like the splash of Divine. I mean, we're playing Royal Charm and Paladin here, so you get that nice opening. And Keepsake and Magnificence can be a really potent combination, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I like Fork Lightning in addition to Magnificence, providing quite a bit of AoE. I mean, they're both side actions, so you can't use them together, but it just gives 6 copies of a spell that can kill 2 1-life guys.
Well, we saw the power of that, right?
Oh yeah, I mean it's a Fork Lightning's an excellent card, and Magnificence is a completely busted card in my opinion. So it just gives a deck in these colors quite a bit more swarm control, and you're not used to seeing swarm control in Illusion Divine, right? So I really like the Divine inclusion. I'm not running Divine, but I think his deck is better off for it. The one of Rose Gardener is very interesting.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
only two charm dice, and I get it's for Ruby Cobra mostly and Golden Veil, and those are just power sides. So I understand why a Rose Gardener,
mhm.
but and you know we shouldn't discount the ability for Rose Gardener to take away a status token.
I would think
We
that's
haven't
more,
seen,
yeah, the reason.
yeah, we haven't seen a lot of chants in the meta currently, like lately, because everything's so illusion heavy. But I mean, Chant of Transfusion is still a really good card, and Chant of Revenge is a really good card, and Fallen is a really good card, and this can help against all of those.
Yeah, I think
But it's still kind of an interesting pick.
it's I mean it's cheap ally, it's basic, like a basic sync. It can
Yeah,
help with the charm die. I'm assuming that he played this a few times and was like, if I get a couple bad rolls, I'm just milling myself a lot, so it would be nice to spin up. And does it I forget, does it pair with keepsake? I think it does, right? Oh no, because it's only opponent's dice.
no,
It doesn't count if you,
it's
yeah, yeah.
spin down anyway. But yeah,
No, but it doesn't matter. It's just re-rolled, lowered, or changed to a side of your choice. But it's opponent only.
oh really?
Yeah,
I should read my cards.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you're right.
So, because I remember you played, um, when you were playing Knights on Cricket. That one, I forgot that interaction happened.
Yeah,
Uh,
it does.
Fritz is also saying Guilt Link is a great target as well. That's true. That would be a
Yes,
really good one.
very fair.
And welcome to
That's
Wavesy
another
in
card
the
that's
chat.
not seen a lot of play lately.
No, no. I
Not seen a
mean,
lot of Guilt Link lately at all.
sympathy in general. But we have two Kojis, so we'll see when we get there.
Yeah, so we should see some Guilt Link. But yeah, I love the look of this. I think it's really cool. I think Victoria obviously is in a really good place right now. Magnificence is so good. Card
Yeah,
is so good. And the other thing Royal Charm does at the same time, by the way, as allowing the Paladin stuff, is it also is a way to boost up Shade Prowler
yep,
to hit the stuff over 2 attack.
yeah.
That's kind of the only thing we have in here to do it, other than the Magnificence flip. But still, sometimes that one boost in attack is enough.
For sure, or just keep other things alive. All right.
Right.
So yeah, so that's a nice list. Now we're moving on to Carl's deck. So this one is one of the three Ramias. Pop up in a second.
Oh my goodness.
And it doesn't surprise me.
This is nuts.
But it is 9 Secret Tunnel Collection 2024, 9 time dice. So this is just a classic, like, bypass, fighting spirit, secret door, big bird list. It's only got 2 allies, which always scares me. I mean, I know Ancestral is great, but 1 Realm Walker, and then everything else is 3 of for the books. There's 3 of secret doors, which is, whenever you do see the card, you rarely see 1, but seeing 3 is pretty wild. It does pair obviously with this deck, but very
it's
cool.
Smart that you don't have to, you don't have to first 5 it, right?
Yeah,
Remy is going to draw so many cards between the ability and Wishing Wing that you're going to draw into it before you need it.
And that's so you're just guaranteed to punch through with the secret door and the fighting spirit, so you're just going to keep swinging, which is pretty cool. And worst case, you can discard it near the end, like you have some mill proof near the end game. What I'm also interested to see is that there's even more stuff. There's 3 excavates and an Era's End. I'm curious if the one of Era's End is a counter to, was a Prowler counter pick.
It's a Shade Prowler counter. There's nothing in here it works with.
Yeah.
And so this is strictly a Shade Prowler counter, which is probably smart.
And then 2 Flash Strikes and some Fate Reflections, because presumably this list folds against Ping. I guess thankfully that there's no Coles being played. I think this one is very dangerous. I mean, obviously, it's in the pilot's hands. It's going to be even more so, but this is compared to what we've seen, more of an explosive list in the meta. Like we've seen a lot of control lists, and this is very much going for the 2 or 3 big punches across the board, and
Oh, yeah.
really making use of the change to Ramia's battlefield to 5, making use of the ability to
Mhm.
drop down the hoppers. So this is
Yeah,
cool.
it's a good meta call. We haven't seen a lot of it's a really good meta call. We haven't seen a lot of Maoni in the meta because Silver Paladin is really rough against her.
Hmm.
So she's usually the big bypass deck. And I think because of the lack of Maoni, there's probably not very much redirect in the field. And without, that'd be the biggest counter card to this.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
also, it's very good into Paladin as well, right? Not a lot of good Paladin targets here. Even the Realm Walker is going to cause you to, need to regress to kill that with a Paladin, and otherwise, we really don't care if but you're going to Paladin our 1 die Wishing Wing. Great, go for it. Like we'll deal with the Paladin more efficiently, right? Um,
And it just plays into the
this
whole
is
the plan, right? You want to get
yeah,
rid of
load
your
up the Fighting
hoppers and stuff.
Spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's a very good meta call. Honestly, like had I put more thought into what I was going to play for this, I would have probably done something similar with a bunch of little bodies. I'm kind of surprised to see no gates thrown open. Um, with the
I'm
1 illusion die in here, but I mean, with Ancestral Army and stuff, you really don't need it, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, mainly because Ramia drawing 2 in the opening is almost like for free, is almost like a gates. Like you're gonna play more flexible in round 1. You could end up drawing a second
Yeah.
hopper. I mean, if the Wishing Wing dies as well, you're probably getting 3, maybe 4 cards. The
Mm-hmm.
Ancestral
Yeah, that's
Army
fair.
helps you filter. So this is you, round 1 is going to be tricky. Like if you kill the wing, you're just setting up a huge amount of cards, and then no matter what, by round 2, like half of these focuses are online.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only Wishing Wing and Time Hopper that you're really trying to get focused, but having the extra Seafoam Snappers is good to keep the 5 battlefield under control. Um, so you're gonna want that anyhow.
I guess
And yeah, just
the only thing
it's
I'm
gonna draw so many
surprised
cards.
Yeah, the only thing I'm surprised about is with 1 illusion die having 3 secret doors, is a little bit surprising instead of 3 fighting spirits.
Yeah, again though, like Fighting Spirit, I think you want online in round 1 to start accumulating tokens. Secret Door, you don't really need until you need it, right? Like you don't need it until you're ready to punch the big swing through.
No, I know. I'm saying like
And
you could have gone 2-2, given that you're probably going to get the draw anyway. But just the extra ability for long term. That's just with the 1 illusion die, because you're not ever going to be able to play 3 of them, or even 2 of them. So it's really
oh,
just for
you can play them, you just can't use them
yeah, it's just for
like
consistency.
more than one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're just drawing into he wants to make sure he doesn't have to first 5 this, and he's going to see it at some point.
Yeah.
But I mean, with as many cards as we're drawing here, like he's gonna see it well in advance of when he needs it.
All right. I will give you one shot to guess what Inquisitor is playing. Oh, you have the
Well,
list now in front of you.
I see it on. I would have guessed Harold without looking at the spreadsheet,
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you have
but
the spreadsheet now.
I do have the spreadsheet. I would have been right. I don't know if I would have guessed this spread of dice,
Well, we're gonna
but
take a look at it.
I do know that he's very high on Sarasaurus Mount, so I'm not super surprised to see it here.
I
Again,
yeah.
it, again, no gates thrown over. I thought like again, I didn't put a lot of thought into my list when I made it, and afterwards I thought, man, I should have played like a gates open in my list, but another deck without gates, so we're not seeing that. But um,
It's a
Yeah,
strong
this is just a
list.
pile of good cards.
It's a pile of good
Yeah.
cards, 16 allies, six like just removal cards, and
Yep.
actually plus the ice traps.
8.
So 8
Mhm.
cards. This is a scary list. And the Sarasaurus, like, I guess in the past you would have seen perhaps a Frostback Bear in place of the Sarasaurus, but this with the more common heavy ally decks lately, and giving it some reach with the overkill is a really nice play, and everything's just good. Like all the allies are just good to replay if you get them from the Sarasaurus mount.
Yeah, it's very swarmy,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of one ofs are playing into the open deck list metagame,
For sure.
right? Where you can. It's really hard to predict what he's going to open here.
I
But
mean, 3 book, yeah, and then you know that at least one ally is coming down, so that's
it's
yeah.
it's going to be 2 allies most of it. I mean, you can't just unless. Well, I guess you can because you're open deck, right? So you know if the opponent is bringing ice trap or not.
Yeah.
And I would say there's very little ice trap in the meta right now anyway. There's probably less ice trap than there's ever been. So you can run, 3 books, one, um, 3 books, one ally, and a fester or something,
Yeah,
and
especially because you have
maybe
the
get away with that,
ceremonial
right?
to recur if you needed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dog is trying to get on something on the counter, so I'm gonna go see that real quick, but
All
make sure
right.
he doesn't grab something. But yeah, I like the look of this a lot. I like the multiple herders with the Therosaurus mount, and the Hand of Spear too. That's not a terrible thing to mount either. And
Mm-hmm.
Fire Archers, a lot of good mount targets. And I mean, there's not a ton of good stuff to work with. Well, I guess the mount is and the False Demon are pretty good with Mark. The rest of the allies aren't great to be attackers with Mark, besides the Hammer Knight and maybe the Light Swordsman, but that gets tricky with the sequencing.
I mean,
But still, I think it's very strong.
there's so much counter
Like, go grab him.
swarm. Yeah, sure. There's so much counter swarm here with Fork Lightning, Nature's Wrath, an Old Salt. The Lightbringer pulls things out of position, and then everything else is. I mean, Herald, marking is naturally battlefield oriented. So staying on board with this, I guess, really the only perhaps saving grace is that for sure the 3 books every round are going to cost 5 plus an ally, so 6, let's say, which means he can't play everything. Can't play everything, but everything is good that he could play. So that's the only thing. This list is just very, very solid, good stuff. I guess I'll open the next list and take a second because it's Matt, and I'm sure his list will have something to be said from Killer, given how often he's played against Matt on Odette. And this actually, ooh, okay, at least one little bit of spice here. No, 2 bits of spice. I like it. I can't tell. I think this is Matt's list.
All right.
I just pulled it up. There's 2 bits of spice
Yeah.
from what is otherwise, I believe, the list he's been running lately in a few different tournaments and games. Shifting Mist in this Odette list, and lower down, Rally the Troops, which is very exciting. And just a yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if I scared him into Shifting Mist
Oh, you
with
think?
the Vicky spin down stuff that I was playing.
Oh, your fault. Okay.
I don't know, but I mean, it didn't really impact him too much though, so maybe not. But it just I mean, he doesn't really need the third spellboard slot, so maybe he's just kind of metagaming against any spin down or mill decks that are out there.
Uh,
And
yeah, could be. If you see like a heavy illusion deck or a Vicky deck, maybe that's enough to be afraid of.
yeah, and again, this is all these one ofs playing into that metagame of the open deck list, but just good anyway to have
Oh
Excuse
no,
me, they have a lot of options.
dying on stream
So,
here. That's not the way
yeah,
we
we
want
don't
to
need to do
start
that.
out.
Rally the Troops is a really cool self clear card.
Yeah.
Um, that messes with math and can be played. Should probably be played a little more than it is. But between that and backflip, I mean, he's got some good ways to open up Odette's board. Not to mention Sword of Virtue that can refresh stuff. He's on his standard 2 swords, 1 armor split, which I think is correct for Odette.
I think it's the right split these days. Almost in all cases, just because the value you can get out of 1 armor can be
Yeah.
the difference maker. Like 3 or 4 life, even if it's going into a long game and you play it out later. Uh
Yeah.
oh, can you not
Interesting
see?
that.
No, there's only the one reaction. Just the one
Yeah.
reaction. It's angelic rescue.
Yeah, I was
It,
gonna say it's interesting to see that over Fate Reflection. I feel like Fate Reflection's a better card, but I know that
there.
Matt likes Angelic Rescue.
I can't play every time I click my mouse. It doesn't quite line up perfectly. There. Yeah, this is. I mean, we've seen it, right? We've seen this in action. It's good
Yeah.
stuff. Odette right now, I think is just a great pick, which is why I'm surprised that he's the only one running Odette. But I think that's part of the collection. Everyone tries to get a little bit spicy, a little bit meta, and yeah, this is probably going to be one of the lists to beat.
Yeah.
All
Did
right.
we look at Waves' deck, or did I miss that?
Oh, we did pass by waves. Oh, how did I? I don't even know how I skipped over that. That was the third deck.
I don't know.
Well,
So Waves is on
waves is
Rowan.
waves is never in on stream, so you know what? He doesn't get the respect. All right, let me.
This list has all the spice.
Well, it's waves. What?
Um,
Like, I don't think you can expect a list from waves without spice. Let's see. Okay, Eternal Rains will come. Rowan, a 5/2/3. Sorry, I should have been a little more descriptive because I know Shadow's going to watch this later on. A 5 ceremonial, 2 divine, 3-time split, and yeah, this is a
I mean, you
spicy
see Dread
list.
Wraith and Chant of Worship right off the rip, and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah,
We got there's some things going on here. We've got the Infuriate Dread Wraith combo.
yep. Law of
So,
Fear
which is
for the long-term discovery play, and just to allow that Dread
yeah,
Wraith to survive.
yeah, it gives him a, if he wants to try and go, big time dig, I guess, in round one well, I guess there's not a ton to dig with here other than like Knowledge Seeker and then Conscript and Exhume Knowledge Seeker in round one to try and get a couple discoveries early, combo with Chant of Worship.
Yeah, and I would assume Horde is
So,
also there to help just buff up the number
yep,
of units
yeah,
you
you got
put
you
down.
have the Rising Horde Rowan stuff to gum up the board.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
yeah,
then
I mean, I am not. I know nothing about Rowan, right? I'm
yeah,
so bad with him, but I'm really looking forward to seeing this thing do some stuff because it looks super fun.
it's got all the draw that he needs, right? Like the Chant of Worship is a nice spicy pick to get everything, as well as running 3 Knowledge Seekers. So this is very cool. And then I guess inspired from maybe Carl's previous deck, or just having played a bunch, but the 2 Reclaimed Souls to synergize with Chimera and being able to play Air's End, like being able to play a Chimera multiple times, is really
Right?
nice, as well as extending your life total. This is cool. I mean, I don't know how you keep Wraith alive round 1 if you're facing Paladin. I mean, you probably just don't play it in that case, but it's kind of that bait, right? It's trading out your 3 dice for their 4 dice if you're playing chicken.
Yeah, but like if you do that, they have a guy on the board after, and you don't, right? So
Well, they don't. I'm saying,
I
like,
don't think that's.
if they're waiting to play for you to play your Dread Wraith, so they can play
Oh, and
Paladin,
you just wait. I
and
get
you just
it.
hold it,
Yeah, you have like first 5 a Dread Wraith book and 10 dice of other stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
and just never play the Dread Wraith. Um, I mean, hey, it's certainly something to, certainly a way you can go.
For sure.
3 Crypt Guardian I love too. That this card is not played enough.
It fell out of favor just because we are Cult of the New type of thing, but
Yeah,
it's so good, and being able to consistently lock down a bunch of targets, as well as in this list being able to guard your Ruin Dweller and your Dread Wraith, is
yep.
really cool. Yeah. The only thing I wonder is why he didn't end up playing any like Fork Lightning in this list, or more than
Yeah,
one
there's
Old
not a lot of
Salt.
swarm control. I was thinking of that as well, and there's not a ton of that. And I think, if he comes up against a deck like Carl's, he's going to be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's probably others that are metagaming against Paladin, I would think, with some smaller units.
Yeah.
So we'll have
Well,
to see how that goes.
uh,
But like Rising Horde does pretty well into those.
it does. It
So
does. It also gets killed by an opposing Fork Lightning. So
yeah,
you
true.
just have to time it right, because everything else can clog up your board. All right. Let's see the. I think this is also the only time I've ever seen, like, given that there's 5 spell board, that I've seen a ritualist only for Chant of Worship and not for anything else, like a Chant of Transfusion or
Yeah.
Revenge. All right, your list, another Vicky.
Yeah. So full disclosure, I when I found out this was open deck lists, I just gave up. Like I don't like open deck list Ashes stresses me out so much
oh, sorry.
that I I just I figured I had like a 5% chance to win collection before I knew it was open deck list, and when I heard it was, I lowered that to 0, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna play whatever is the most fun to play right now. I gave it literally no thought, and I should have given it more thought, but I just didn't, right? So
So
I literally took the
defeatist.
deck. I took the deck I played against Matt the other day in the team tournament. I made the updates that I said I should make,
Okay.
and submitted it. Right, that's literally what I did.
I mean,
Um,
that deck did really well. Like you were on crickets, but you guys got to the very end there, and it was really just that one double down Fork Lightning
yeah,
counter.
that was bad. I
Yeah.
mean, this is it's not like this deck is bad. That I think this deck is very good. Um, but I don't think it's a great meta pick for collection. That being said, I
I don't know.
do really like what it can do. I think
Hmm.
Shadow Spirit is better than Knights on Cricket um, in this list, and it allows for a couple more unique opens that I'm not going to go into, obviously for obvious reasons, but that
No, just
weren't
tell us.
available when I had
You've
Cricket.
you've
Yeah,
already
so
given us a
here's what I'm
zero
gonna do, guys.
percent chance at winning, so you
Yeah, I'm
might
not
as well
going to win
spill the
anyway.
beans.
Yeah, it also makes the dice a little tighter too. It gives me, I don't have to play 2 sympathy. I can just play 1. Um, but
Right.
I mean, yeah, there's not a whole lot to say about this deck. They've seen it. I put a backflip in because Matt made me look stupid with backflip on stream, so I had to put one in.
Fair enough.
But that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, commendable to downplay your own skill that much. I think this is actually a pretty dangerous list, and will do pretty well. I like this. Is the or I guess the in this case the sympathy is really just for the essence druid at this in this point, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you can use hollow as well with the sympathy die, which I kind of like.
Oh, yeah. Right. Right.
But yeah, I mean, just the charm die and the sympathy die are just gonna be for druid. But thankfully, Shade Prowler is a decent little basic sync. Um, it was nice when I had cricket as well because that was another basic sync, and this deck is pretty low on basic syncs.
Right.
But that's okay because I'm going to use surprise and roll all my basics into power side, so it doesn't matter.
There you go. unless you're Alfred rolling and nothing changes.
Yeah, nothing's right.
All right, we've got Abby, who is one of our contenders for most improved. Actually, that's something I'll do right before we do the pods. I'll just bring up the nomination list in case there are people who still
Okay.
haven't voted. But she is one of the 2 players up for most improved of the year, and she is bringing a very swarmy wolf king. This is sort of, I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah.
similar in essence to Carl with the 3 books, but it doesn't have the bypass element here, and instead it's going with a ceremonial and a divine die to allow for Fester and Shepherd of Lost Souls and Old Salts. Oh gosh,
Old
actually,
Salt, right?
there's a few things in here. Overloading the divine, Mortal Commander, and yeah, that's it. So Mortal Commander, Light
Light
Swordsman, and 3
Swordsman.
Shepherds.
Yeah, I mean that's only 5 dice. That's not terrible.
No, I assume
And
one of those is a first 5 as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
or at least can be, right? This is just a super duper swarmy list. And again, I kind of a cool meta call into um, what you would expect to be a paladin meta, although we haven't seen many paladins so far in looking at these lists.
I know.
Um,
I played.
well, I guess there were.
I don't know. I
Let
played
me go
this
back
wrong.
to
You'll see my list. I did
so
not choose correctly.
yeah. So Shadow was playing paladin. Inquisitor has a paladin. Matt has a paladin. And does Waves have a paladin
No,
in Rowan? No.
which I was
Okay,
going to
so
point out surprised me because just one of in Rowan is so good with excavate.
but I mean we're at 50-50 with paladin, so I guess it's not like
Exhumed.
paladin's not
Yeah,
here or
yeah.
anything.
Yeah, this is a fast list. If you just showed me this list and were like, who made this, I would have thought with my own personal history that this was a Fritz deck. It is very
Yeah.
aggressive, and
It is
yeah,
extremely swarmy, and yeah, I love the Shepherd of Lost Souls with Wolfpack leader. That's cool.
hmm
Um,
I like the Ocean's Gift. The Ocean's Gift, I think, is a really undervalued card, especially because we haven't seen a lot of status stuff. But Ocean's Gift with Wishing Wing, with Hopper, with Standard Bearer, with Wolfpack Leader, like it just synergizes so well with everything. It gives you the free
Yeah.
meds that you need for getting, like, for the Snapper and for the Focus Wishing Wing. Or actually, wait, no, yeah, you don't. No, you do. You still for Wing in general.
Mhm.
And the reactions, right? Which you're running Fate Reflection. You're also running 2 Shadows. So this is just great.
Yeah.
This is a really cool list. I like it.
Yeah, I'm having trouble focusing on the cards, and once I've looked at Koji's foot and realized how long his big toe is, it's weirding me out. It looks like a hand, and
I've never looked at that
can't.
before.
I haven't either until right now. I looked at his foot. I was looking at Ocean's Gift, and I looked over at his foot, and his toe is so long, and I was like, "Oh, that I can't look away now."
Yeah.
It looks like a thumb, and I don't. I'm closing this window.
Okay. Carl mentioned that there is bypass with the stance. It's a one of,
Yeah.
but yeah, technically, it's not like the
Might be all you need.
guaranteed. It's true. You only ever need one for a big punch.
Mhm.
Oh, Shadow is in the chat too. Well, there you go. Hey, Shadow, what's up? We're just
Hey,
covering
Shadow.
the list. We're about halfway through. No, we're 7 out of 18, so not quite. We're gonna make way though. Red King is up next. So
Yeah.
here we've got.
When you told me there were 2 Rowans, I was sure that he was one of them.
Oh, you guessed right. 2 ceremonial, 1 illusion, 3 sympathy, and 4 time.
Yeah. I've played against this deck multiple times, and it's a nightmare.
Oh yeah, I have not played
nightmare.
against him a lot.
This deck is nasty.
Changing Winds,
all I can say about
resummon, Turtle Guard, Salamander Monk, Ruin Dweller are the books, and then you've got a Puppeteer, Crypt Guardian, 3 Jungle Warriors.
Yeah,
That is
it's a
really
crazy
interesting. Yeah.
it's a crazy good card with Rowan and Chimera. I mean,
Uh,
it's such an excellent refresh
yeah. They
engine.
right. Yeah, yeah. I didn't think. I mean, you still have to play. That's a 2 dice refresh, but it's guaranteed. Like you always have that accessible, basically.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about off of Conscript Exhume,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
For 2 days, yeah.
Yeah. And then the like 6. So this is the first list where we've seen the inverse. Like we've seen a lot of ally heavy, and now this is 16 action spells and 8 allies.
Yeah,
And so the allies here are 1-ofs mostly, except the Jungle Warrior, and then everything else is 3-ofs. Discovery, Air's End, Excavate, Reclaim Soul, and Shared Sorrow. And this list is so spicy. It's insane.
yeah. Well, again, like, well, not again. I didn't say this yet, but this thing's all in on Chimera, or
Mm-hmm.
not all in, but it's very, very much in on Chimera, right? Like we're Salamander Monk and Turtle Guard are just there to gum up the battlefield and Rising Horde, right? Just to give Rowan time to discover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then resummon.
Then you have resummon is great on the Chimera. It's ridiculous. You have the 3 Jungle Warrior to refresh it. You have the 3 Reclaim Soul to do what you were talking about earlier when we looked at Waves list. And then you've got Changing Winds and Generosity to draw cards early on. And Excavate, Dig. So like this deck, and and the Knowledge Seeker, this deck will get the 3 discoveries very fast.
Yeah.
And it will. But the Salamander Monk and the Turtle Guard will make it hard to punch through in the meantime. So this thing's nasty.
This is one of those lists
That's what I
where
can say.
I look at it and I'm like, I'm just gonna go with my plan A. Like, there's no way I'm playing mind games and trying to counter first 5 because it's just too much, and probably end up getting steamrolled as a result.
It's very tough. I don't know if I've ever beaten it. If I have, it's been very close. But I've played Red King quite a bit because when I was playing a lot, I haven't played a lot lately, but when I was, I'm usually on the times that he is.
Right.
And we'll match up, and it's he played this quite a bit against me, or at least some variation of it. It's very good.
Shadow agrees that it is a pain in the butt. We're gonna skip over Ninja Under Rug because he's a horrible person playing Fallen. And we all know that Fallen sucks, and yeah. I hate this. I hate it. Why? I don't want to see Fallen ever. And it's with Dragon Demona. This is the one matchup I just don't want to.
Congratulations, Under Rug Swept. You won the collection. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah. This is what is this basically the list he ran in the One and Done? I mean, I don't remember the exact cards, but this would lead me to believe it's very close. I do think
it was close.
He's added some heal, perhaps, which is a little bit spicy. And it's on a 2 Take to the Skies and 1 Wayward Knight, which I think is nice. There's also some extra like Swarmy Punch with the Immortal Commanders, which is also just a good mount target as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I can beat this.
Neither do I.
I mean, most of the decks we've looked at, there's not a ton of there's no mill decks, right? Yet. I mean, I don't count the Vickies.
No, yours is probably as close. Yours is more mill than anything else because you've got so much thin down. Fatigue. It's a fatigue deck. Yeah.
It certainly can be, but like, there's not enough here there's not enough in my deck to deal with something like this.
Yeah.
And I mean, Carl has good bypass.
That's the other thing. Like other than Carl, there is no bypass, and even Carl is saying that this is the list he's most scared of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Abby's deck has the one of standstill. Right, but
Well, it better
like
be the one
there's
punch win, because
yeah,
otherwise, like round one, you're getting screwed over by the dragon, and then everywhere else you just fallen doing fallen things. Oh,
yeah.
I
This
did
deck,
not want to see
he's
this.
gonna win. He's
Yeah,
gonna win. All right,
it's it's
next
too
list.
good. All right. Now we can go to Ninja. All right. Ninja is the last of the Remias. He has lovingly titled it Draw Nerd, and it's a 3 charm, 7 illusion split. This one is running Shadowhound, Shadow Spirit, Shimmerwing, Whisperer, and Dream Fracture. So it is very much a spin down list with the Shadowhound to hunt everything. But what I think is kind of spicy is that he's got a one of Chimera Charmer in here. Um, and then everything else is sort of like removal and uh, I don't know what you call like figures and
Yeah,
fate. Like it was like
there's a
denial or preventing the attacks, the swings.
yeah, there is a lot of guys in this deck with not a lot of self clear. That's what I'm seeing. There's a lot of bodies
That's true.
and not a lot of ways to clear them. Um, I feel like you're gonna end up Shadowhound pinging your own stuff or something.
Maybe. I mean, it
But
definitely it gives you time. Like someone's gonna like none of the lists we've seen, other than Carl's again, um, has bypass or an alternative like a plan B. Like every list so far is a plan A. I guess Red Kings has enough overkill, and Inquisitor he's got Sarasaurus, right? But
yeah, so I don't think
otherwise,
Sarasaurus is enough. I
no, it's
think
not.
Chimera is enough.
Chimera is
I
enough.
think like yeah, I mean, I like you said, I have the spin down Dream Fracture stuff. That's my idea of a plan B, but I don't think it's enough to take down that fallen list. This kind of has that with I mean, Dream Fracture puts you on a clock, albeit a super slow one. Or a non-existent one if you don't know how to play it against Bowman.
Yeah, if you forget that you actually need to spin down dice, but the Whisperer is there
Yeah.
to cover that gap.
Yeah, it
So
is. You have to actually draw a Whisperer, as I found out
yeah.
also. I'm not bitter or salty at all
Another
about
part
that.
of the plan that you need to consider. So
Yeah.
as long as you
But Rimia
draw,
will be much better at that than I was.
yeah, as long
And
as you're
I
drawing the
can
cards
say
and
that
playing them correctly.
yes. Yes. Rimia is really good at focusing books. I
Yes.
played a Shadowhound Rimia for quite a while, and actually the first 2 rounds of the team tournament, I think I played Shadowhound Rimia, and super fun and pretty powerful because she will focus that hound book quicker than you think she will.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little more all in on it than he is here. I had a lot more um, round one draw, but it's even with like just her ability and then Ancestral Army in round one sees 4 extra cards,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean that's a seventh of your deck. Like that's a good chunk. Well, really, it's almost a fifth of your remaining deck, right?
Yeah.
Of the 25 that are there. So, I mean, there's a pretty good shot that you just on those 4 cards find another book.
I think the Shadowhound is probably that like the 2 pings if once you focus it is the way you
Yeah.
can easily start triggering your own whisperers, which then count as burn and self clear.
Yep.
So that's a little cool thing. If you get clogged up, if they just run at you,
Yeah.
you've got so many cheap bodies to just keep putting down. It makes it
Yeah,
very
and
difficult.
2 shadows can do it in a pinch as well. I mean, it's not ideal, but you can do it.
Yeah.
A lot of really interesting here. Like this plays into the fallen list a little bit with 5 spells that discard units instead of destroying them between
Yes.
Farewell and 2 shadows, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Farewell is I mean, Farewell's such a good card.
Farewell's so good.
And it's like, look at this list. It's really like you have 3 charm dice in here. and it's like almost all for farewell, right? Like you have, I mean, you have one Chimera Charmer
Sure,
and
yeah,
one
yeah, yeah.
Golden Veil,
No, it's
and
just
then
to
farewell.
take down 3. I
And
bet I
well, I
bet
guess
he
there's
thought.
Shimmerwing too. Sorry, there's Shimmerwing as well.
Yeah, but I'm assuming.
I
I
missed
mean,
that.
you could do the Shimmerwing. I'm assuming it was like, okay, if I'm gonna face a Demona Dragon, I want to be able to round one just remove probably the Empyrean mount, because
Yeah,
then they can't get sidetracked on the swing. But yeah, this is
right.
very solid.
Yeah, yeah. So the Shimmerwing is going to see another card. So you're going to see 5 cards in round one, 5 additional cards, and that's a fifth of your deck. And assuming you first 5 Shimmerwing, so
Or you get
you're
lucky and you
gonna.
don't see any of them because they're all at the bottom.
That's very possible too.
I played a Jameless the other night against Shadow, and both of our uniques, all three of them, all 3 copies of both of ours were at the bottom of the pile, and
Nice.
yeah, it was brutal. All right, we've got another Red King deck, but this will be piloted by none other than my nemesis, No Such Method. It's a James list, which again, I'm actually surprised we haven't seen more James, but it's you know, ally heavy, swarmy, 4 illusion, 6
Yeah.
divine, royal charm, lightbringer, shade
3.
prowler.
Yeah. 3 Vengeance. No Soulfire
Which
in
I
this
don't.
list.
Yeah, that's and no widows. So it's like it's really just for a buff
Yeah.
swing, not for any shenanigans.
Yeah. I can't get on board with that, but
It's not
um
my preference, but
James, yeah, James in and of himself is very good. He's very good. And I do think it's a bit of a travesty that we don't see more of him. I have to sneeze.
bless you. Well, like when I
Thanks.
played, I've only played 1 or 2 James decks, and like I said the other night, I didn't even draw Soulfire. Um, but I do remember why he's like one of my top win rates. Like it is fun to be able to pull. I guess the thing is these days with the with Glory, with Shepherd, with Ritualist, there are just so many ways of tutoring or recurring. There's also so many double units that in
Yeah.
some ways his advantage has been neutralized compared to everyone else. Like everyone else now can sort of do what he used to be able to do by himself with the tutoring. And I mean, he can do it more, but you know, like there's only so many
Yeah.
dice you can spend in round one, or in any round for that matter. So yeah, it's I like the list. I think it's again, it's another swarmy list. What's really excites me is 3 backflip. Um, just that's I love the card, and I think this is the right list for it. And
Yeah.
3
Now
fadeaways.
that, yeah, and a polarity mage to get it back, right? Um, but this list, the thing I noticed about it is there are a lot of ways to make Shade Prowler kill big things
Mm-hmm.
in this list. I mean, we have 3 backflips, so that's something else Vengeance does, right? Is it's able to boost up the Shade Prowler for a big swing.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Um, and so we also, and Royal Charm obviously, and Immortal Commander. And there's a lot of ways to boost that Shade Prowler up, and also the Terra Herder, right? Or the Hatchlings. So
Yeah,
that thing needs a boosted attack, right?
the vengeance actually is a neat little synergy with the terror herders, and if you use the shade prowler early and then you want to self clear, right, then you
Correct.
can
Yeah, you can
clear the
blow it up and boost
prowler
something
and
else.
boost something. Yeah. Quick
Mhm. Yeah.
interjection. Carl wants to, he said, regarding Ninja's list, would you want to farewell the dragon? You don't get the wounds, but removing it is removing it. Me
I mean, maybe.
personally,
I think if you're gonna farewell the mount, right? If you have the choice,
that's yeah, I would farewell the
but
Empyrean mount myself, because I think it's more of the problem. Like, well, it depends on your deck. If you have the ability to attack for 3, like if you have the 3/2 or whatever, or you have another way of killing the mount, then that's great. But because it's side action swing, like you're never guaranteed to get it off right away. So your board's gonna just get blown up. You're gonna have whatever remaining defender get taken over, or battle master, whatever the ability is called, by the Empyrean. I would just kill the Empyrean mount and remove the ally underneath. That's how
Yeah,
I would play
and
it.
the farewell. I mean, the farewell on a mount, you're trading, 3 dice for what's probably 3 dice of theirs. The 2 spent on the mount plus something on the ally, and they don't get
Mhm.
the ally back.
Yeah.
So that's and you get the mill, right? So that's pretty even. Farewelling a dragon just feels really bad.
Yeah.
Like your card and 3 dice for their 1 card and 1 die, and you don't even get the bonus wounds. Like that's a tough tempo loss to come back from in round 1, and you're already behind on tempo anyway because dragon is ridiculously strong.
I guess
So
I mean, it can make sense if you, as we've seen, are playing a very swarmy deck, and you know that the dragon has top of round 2, and so then you have, like,
yeah,
you want to prioritize it because you know you can chump block the Empyrean mount. That would be the case where I would prioritize the dragon, removing the dragon.
I
Um,
mean you'd have to be in a pretty dire situation, but
yeah, yeah. All right,
all
so
right. But anyway,
here
back to this. Yeah, this is an interesting deck for sure.
it's an interesting deck.
I'm I'm excited to see how it does.
Yeah, we have up next a surprise from Brankus. Not something I thought I would see. This is a Remia Mono Illusion, 3 Abundance, 3 Dream Fractures, 3 Keepsakes, 3 Shadowhounds, and 3 Whispers. I
Yeah, this is
this is completely out of left field for not just
I
for
mean,
Brankus, but for like a deck in general. This to me is like, wow, I did not think I would see this type of 15 spellboard mono illusion in the collection. At least not in Rumia, but it's very cool. I'm very surprised. I'm trying to process what's going on here. And
so
Fred says
there's
it's
some
not even
cool.
running in snare.
Yeah. But it is, I mean, Dream Fracture and Whisperer do burn quite a bit, and people forget that Abundance is a burn spell too. So
Yep.
this isn't too crazy from him. It's just the illusion weird burn instead of his normal burn because he's not allowed to play Molten Gold anymore.
Yeah. So he's
Um,
just foregone the entire nature pool.
yeah,
Uh,
I'm a big fan of the 2 from Darkness in here.
mm-hmm. Yeah, with the hound.
It's yeah, and the Rosefire Dancer.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which is another, like, I mean, same thing, but drop the Rosefire Dancer, exhaust it immediately to exhaust something, and then normally what happens is somebody swings at it, right? And and then you explode whatever swings at it with From Darkness
Mm-hmm.
for 3. But the Hound it's a very good card to protect your exhausted Shadowhound.
Yeah.
If because sometimes you end up like swinging a Shadowhound at Phoenixborn like through a hole, and you just get to get 3 damage on something,
Well, and he
and then
also he backs it up with the ink spill, or ink spill, which is like Shadowhound's weakness in theory is just being able to put down a bunch of small bodies, and because he's not running Fork
right.
Lightning, he's running ink spill instead. And you're gonna have a bajillion cards in hand. Like you probably draw your entire deck by round 2 or round 3. Um, yeah,
Yeah, so and this will, yeah, like you said, you're gonna focus the Shadowhound book super fast, between Abundance and the ability and Ancestral Army.
I think
So you
it's
have
cool.
the cards to discard. Yeah, it's definitely cool. Does it have enough flexibility to beat some of the stuff in here? I don't know. But Keepsake, you don't need to be Vicky to use Keepsake.
That's
Um,
true. You don't.
Dream Fracture and Whisperer will, and Hollow will get the thing charged up eventually,
Mm-hmm.
and then it becomes a pretty darn good removal spell.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean,
Oh, I'm getting feedback. Did you switch me over to like your speaker?
No,
Oh, I don't know what's going on. Um,
I didn't do anything.
I think this deck is dangerous in the late round for sure. How it matches up against like the Koji, for instance, round one, where this doesn't have Wrath, it doesn't have Fork Lightning. It does have Ancestral,
Yeah.
obviously, which you just put down some bodies, but
Mhm.
that's the only thing that I think might be tricky. But once you
Yeah,
get
Ink Spill
to
would be an interesting card there
yeah,
against that in round one. And you can open it because you have all this draw stuff.
yeah,
You can discard a card.
this is a very cool list. I'm very shocked. It is also the reason why Brankus does not deserve to win Brankus of the Year because he's not even playing himself. Like you're gonna see
Yeah,
my list.
he's Lark of the year.
Yeah,
If
Lark of the Year, not Brankus of the Year. All
yeah.
right. Let me bring up who we got next. Now we got Fritzy. We got Fritzy, and
Yep.
he is on the other Koji. So this I know is, or at least based off of what I can see, is sort of something that he has been fine tuning. I think ever since I actually saw him play like the very first game, and I didn't recognize who he was. I ran into him playing a pickup game,
I have to
and I was like, "Damn, this list is fast." And then it's
yeah. I
since
have to cover
evolved.
Koji's foot.
Um, I it's this is such an aggressive list. It's got more counter swing ability than you really can plan for. It's like you can never swing out because immediately you're just going to get whacked back for 8. Um,
Yeah.
and he's made some adjustments. Obviously, I can see Sonic or sorry, Paladin has been included. Um, and Glory
And
to pull
regress.
it. And Regress is there as a counter knight thing, which I think was probably one of the weaknesses here. And then a lot of one ups, right? Like tons of one ups. So
Yep.
you cannot plan against this list. You just can't.
Nope. You can't do it. Um and it's if you don't plan right, he's gonna come at you with something like, some weird Lightbringer, Huntmaster, Wolfpack leader, uh rush down that you're just not ready to deal with.
Yeah.
And or he could go, Hopper, Wishing Wing, slower, more value. There's a couple different ways you can go. Lists like this are really good in these open deck list formats where you can't predict. And
He says
he's
he
saying that he
thinks
thinks
he killed Shmeny
the
with a 30
30
attack
attack
Mirror
Mirror
Spirit.
Spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's that one of cheeky explosive growth.
Yep. And the
It's
Ocean's
in here
Gift
to do that.
again.
Yeah, it's back. Yeah, that's like the third Ocean's Gift we've seen. That's interesting. Kyle's in the chat, by the way. Hi, Kyle. Glad he's at work right now. So glad he
Classic
jumped in.
Kyle.
He told me he couldn't join the chat, but he snuck in real quick and said hi. So thanks for joining, Kyle.
Well, there you go. Also competing for Rookie of the Year, Kyle and EB
Yeah.
Fritz. Yeah. Yeah. So I like this list. I'm scared of it, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it done well. The only thing I can see that has changed from previous iterations is the lack of a mortal commander, but you've got so much other stuff. All right.
Yeah. The
So
one thing I'll say about it is, I mean, it is open list, so you lose a little bit of the surprise factor that decks like this typically would have
do
in
you?
rushing you down in round one. I mean, you a little bit, not all of it, right? Because you still have you don't know what he's going to bring here, but at least when you go into the game, like, all right, this deck is capable of pumping out 8 guys or something in round one and just throwing
Yeah.
all at me really fast, and I need to at least be prepared for that. If you sit down across from Koji with a bunch of different colors, like, you might not necessarily know that. But
Um. Yeah. That's true. We've got the which is a surprise for me, the only Astria and not piloted by Ninja or Brankus. This is Apple Sith. This is the first prison deck we've seen.
Mhm.
First mill deck we've seen, and the first deck we've seen with 0 allies, 18
Yeah.
action spells. This is ugly. This is wild. I mean, ugly not in the sense of like I don't like the look of this deck. I mean, I'm looking at this deck and I'm like, damn, like this. I think this is meta, just not like it's gonna wipe every other deck, but when you see 3 Law of Fear in Astria with all this with Judgment and 3 Kneels and safeguards, I don't know how a lot of these
Mhm.
board decks with no plan B run into this. This is
Yeah.
nasty.
So he was on my team for the team tournament, and he played this at least twice and won both of his games. So like he's got some, he's got some games under his belt with this. It's very similar to, our Turbo Mill Leo
Hmm.
decks, except that, he has a nuclear button that
Yeah.
we didn't have in Leo, to where if he does fall behind on the board, because Leo would typically, that deck would lose if I didn't have, enough chumps
Right.
to gum up the board and didn't find my Neils right fast enough to do that. So he can either find Neil or safeguard Neil, or he can just explode the board and reset it.
Yeah. And
And oh,
the
by the way, when he does that, he's gonna mill you 2 or 3 from the doves he has on the board too.
right. And then
Um,
the Law of Fear prevents any of the weenie decks from doing anything, and the Ash Spirits prevent any of the tall decks from doing anything.
yeah, this looks like. I hope just him and Underworld Swept knock each other out, and
I
we
did
don't
that.
have to play either of them.
That would be great if the well, we're doing the pods assignment later. We just have
Yeah, let's
to
put them in. Let's put them
just
together.
yeah. Sorry, Carl, I didn't understand your instructions. These two face
Yeah,
off.
I I thought what you meant was that all the decks we don't want to play just go in the same
go,
pod together.
go in one pod, yeah. This
Yeah.
is a scary list. I would put this in like top 5 sort of scary list. Just compare now that I've seen whatever we've seen 13 other lists. I think this has a really good shot at countering a lot of other
Yeah,
lists.
it's definitely it's very, very scary. Again, Carl's bypass deck looks well positioned here.
Yeah.
The lack of redirect is notable, and it's something I probably would be too afraid to play a prison deck without.
It's also
But
the
it's
only
not here.
it's the only deck where you don't really want to beguile like a wishing wing, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you're like, oh, okay, whatever, when he's also got a fighting spirit and secret door. Um, so yeah. All right, we've got how many decks? 4 decks left. So that was Apple Sith's deck. I guess we saved all the mills for the end here, or all the non-board decks anyway. We've got Mayoni, and it's being played
Oh
by
man.
Jolene. I'm guessing it's Jolene or Julian.
Yeah, Julian. Mhm.
Royal Charm,
Yeah.
Snake Bite, Mind Fog, Shimmerwing. So this is no Snake, and it's all in on the Eternity Flame, Mono Illusion, or sorry, Mono Charm game plan with Chimera and Beast Tamer and Venom Strikes. This is also very interesting.
It really is. It's I've not really tried this deck out with Maoni, but what I can say is that these mono charm decks are stronger than you think they are when you first look at them.
Mm-hmm.
I've I've got some pretty good play out of a couple different like mono charm or very heavy charm type decks. And so I don't think you should underestimate this. That being said, I've never thought Venom Strike Maoni was the best way to play Maoni, but I guess if you're gonna play her in a meta game with Paladin everywhere, that maybe that's better than just throwing a snake to the wolves.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
and she does have redirect, so that's
sorry.
good. And looks like Schmedrix wants to join. Let's
I
get him
just
on.
yeah, I just got a ping. Yeah, I could do that.
Come on, Shmeny.
Let me. I'll figure that. I'm gonna put up the next list. This is really cool. If speaking of, this list actually has redirect, which you were
Yeah.
talking about.
Mhm.
I think what I might do is restart a call with both of you guys, because I think if I start a call separately with Shmeny, it'll just kill my computer. So let me just.
You can't just add him. That
Oh,
doesn't
can
work.
I? Actually, can I? Yeah. Wait a second. This was a.
I don't know. Thought we
I,
could.
I don't know technology. Why? Don't ask me.
I don't either. Is there like a? There's like a plus button up that says add friends to DM. I don't know if that
Do that.
do that.
Add him to
Can
her
I do it? I didn't
DMs.
start the call.
Oh, can I do it?
Um,
Let me do it. Yeah, I got it.
I don't know. It says create DM though.
Whatever.
I don't think that's a call.
Well,
I feel like you should be able to add.
I would think you would, but it doesn't look like it. Like to the actual phone call or to the video
Yeah.
call. Yeah. I'll add him, and if it doesn't work, we'll rejoin. I'll bring up the next list. Nah, yeah, it's just asking me to switch over to the Jankyard. Let me bring up
Okay.
my list because we don't need to talk about it that much. But it's very Brankusy.
That
And
is.
give me a second. Let me restart the call with Shmeny in it, and then
Okay.
we'll figure it out. Hang on. Do. All right.
Hey, Schmendrix, you there?
Got
Got us back. I don't know. I don't know where he is at.
yeah, no,
So
but now I gotta like re-include him or figure out
yeah.
the audio again or the video. Um yeah, he said he dropped from the call.
The heck.
Well,
And I'll talk about your deck while we're trying to get him on here. I mean,
yeah.
if I was trying harder, I mean, I shouldn't say that I'm not trying because I am, but like when I thought about what deck to bring before I just said I'm going to play Victoria, I was going to play Jessa.
So you think I have a better
I
than 0% chance at winning?
I I do. I think you have a better than 0% chance of winning. I think that Jessa Burn specifically is in a pretty good spot.
Yes.
What's up?
Oh, we have the
Hey.
audio. I don't even know if
Yeah.
it's coming through. Yeah, it should be. You're just a silent or an invisible partner. No, his internet's doing terrible.
My internet's back. I'm gonna be right back.
Hey,
Sorry.
there he is. Oh nope, he's
No,
gone
then
again.
he's gone
Maybe he'll
again.
come back. Yeah. So you have like a half burn, half spin down type thing going on,
Well, it's all.
or is it just like burn? Right.
it's-
It's just whisper or burn.
It's whisper burn, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got two hollows to sort of back up the spin down and prevent some reactions that I want prevented. But the whisper burn I think is actually really powerful because it does double duty and it works nicely with Jessa. It's a chump blocker. So I thought that was
Yeah.
interesting. This was not a list I put.
It's a good fear target too. Like it's
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting to like self kill a whisperer and then scream and you get 2 damage.
Yeah, and kill off
It's
whatever.
pretty cool. Right.
It's a list I played in the team tournament and then made like one or two modifications to just to try and anticipate the meta, and I think I anticipated horribly because I did not expect this many swarmy decks. So we'll see if it does anything. But
I mean, I don't think that's totally to your detriment. Like the swarmy decks are easier to kill units and then you can scream more.
that's true.
I mean, you don't have a ton of ping. I kind of wish you would have old salt in here.
Yeah.
But,
it was hard to fit among what all the things I shoved in and then took out. I put an anchor on instead.
Yeah,
Shmeny, are you there?
but still,
Yeah, he's completely.
Schmendrix, maybe not. Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see. I don't think it's the worst list. But it's definitely not. I don't think a top 5 or top 10 list. It was more for fun and something that I've piloted at least once in the last month, so I have some reps with it.
Yeah,
But we'll see.
You also have a lot of guys in
I
this
have
list with 4 battlefield, but I mean, you are running backflip and fear.
I'm running
So we
backflip.
have
I'm running
ways to clear
fear,
them.
and you want things to die, right? Giving me time to set up is good as well.
And Shade Prowler clears itself at the end of the round too, which is nice.
And worst case, False Demon can ping something.
Right.
Yeah. All right, we've got 2 lists left. Let me see. Let me just double check the. Oops.
2 really good players too. Here's our first hope.
All right, so Brian's list. Still got
first and only hope, and this is an interesting hope.
This is like all the ideas. It feels like what we do in the shadows. I have a list named that. So Brian, I think is really good at open lists, and to me, this very much feels like an intentionally built open list deck because of the 1-ups and the flexible spell board.
Yeah. Also very interesting to note that this deck has 17 Fate Reflections in it. And because he will always have it.
He's always got it.
When you play something against it. So it's really, really cool that he was able to fit 27 other cards along with his 17 Fate Reflections.
Yeah. All right, Shmaine jumped in again. I don't know.
I'm back. Third time's the charm.
All right, you did it. Just in time for Brian's list, the penultimate list of the night.
Good. I'm glad I'm here to make things worse for the last 2 decks.
I think this is the first time
Although
the 3 of us.
Not as bad as your deck, apparently. Treatment.
No. Yeah, no, definitely not. This is the first time the 3 of us have been around in like 3 months, 2 months, 3 months.
It's been a while since we've all been on a together.
The illusion reveal, I think, was the last time because you 2 did an episode by yourselves.
Yeah.
Barely. I mean, it was rough, but we did do it.
You did. Yeah. That was
got it done. You figured out the technology.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, I am wearing our swag.
I saw that. It's too hot in my house to wear a hoodie, or I would wear it.
Oh, I'm dripping sweat, but you know what? I had to represent.
It's because of those floodlights you have outside your house.
Yeah, they annoy the neighbors, and
people don't know the history of the floodlights.
They'll find out
quite a bit.
You can see them from space.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I've got. Now there's video. You've just completely derailed us in the final moments of covering.
Were you trying to get stuff done?
No,
Oh,
that's not what I'm here for.
You know me. I can't possibly get things done.
Do
All right, let me. Oh,
all right, back to this deck. It has 2 Lightbringer books. That's weird and interesting. Discuss.
Discuss. I'm figuring out the technology. You guys discuss. I don't even know what I'm looking for anymore. My whole setup
I can't see the deck yet, but is there a way for him to play both in round 1? That would be wild.
No.
Okay, well.
I mean, at least I guess he could like Void Pulse draw into it and play another one. I'm guessing it's because he doesn't want to have to first 5 it, and he wants to have the option to first 5 other stuff. And be a little bit
still have a
likely
small
to draw
chance
into a Lightbringer book. Yeah, that's my thought. I mean, it's a standard Brian overloaded spell board with 6 different ready spells taking up 5 slots. He's got multiple duplicate targets and just a bunch of solid allies and removal. A lot of pinging action spells. Matter. There's a ton of ping in here.
Am I screwed? Oh,
Um,
well, there we go. I could get Shmeny on. Now he's the star of the show.
Yeah.
Now we got.
It doesn't shock me. I mean, I remember, I think it was I feel like the finals of the collection last year where Carl and Brian did those two decks that were like almost every card in each deck dealt damage or had removal. It was like all River Scalds and Old Salts and just flying back and forth. So
Yeah. I mean, look at this. We have False Demon, Shadowhound Ping, Clashing Tempers, Fort Lightning, Mist Typhoon, Shade Prowler, Void Pulse. I mean, like everything in here kills you, and then 17 Fate Reflections to stop all this whenever you try and do it.
He has 3 Fate Reflections. They're just always in his hand when he needs
It's
them.
17 Fate Reflections, and 27 other cards.
There's a lot. There's a lot of counters.
I don't understand how he got them to write a rule that allows him to exceed the 30 card deck limit and the 3 of a kind, but only for Fate Reflection.
But he finds a way to do it. And he's 45 card decks with 18 Fate Reflections and 27 other cards, and it's what he does.
I'm gonna mess things.
It
up.
works.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Celestial Knight's interesting in here. It's the only knight available in the colors that's not a mono.
I feel like his strategy kind of tells you why he thinks Celestial Knight might be valuable, right? I mean,
yeah, all this 1 damage ping. I mean, it's a meta. You know, he's trying to meta the meta, right? Like if the meta is Silver Paladin, the answer to that is a bunch of little weenies, and the answer to a bunch of little weenies is ping. So Celestial Knight beats that. So this is I know you know that I know you know, right?
what's the game plan into Paladin?
Probably play his little guys. I don't know. In the Regress Paladin, it's I mean, Shadowhound doesn't get hit by it. And then you have Lightbringer, Butterfly, Shade Prowler, and that's how many dice? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with duplicate, and you get like Void Pulse or something as your 5th card, and I think that'd be pretty good into Paladin.
It's good.
All right.
And there's, I mean, again, lots of 1-ofs, lots of different ways to go. It's hard to predict what he's going to open with this, so kind of a standard Brian thing.
Standard Brian stuff.
Definitely looks good. Yeah, definitely looks solid. Age of the Clankomatics. I don't know who that is, but he says these decks are all weird.
I mean, yeah. There's some of them are. If you're
welcome to Tournament Ashes, where the sideboard is your deck.
Right.
Right. I mean,
if you're not used to the what do you call it, the mind games and the counter meta and whatever we think we're gonna face, then these are weird, especially overloading spell boards. If you're not a competitive player, might be very different than what you normally see, and mono decks have certainly not been the standard throughout the Ashes history, but they are more and more popular since Red Reigns. But a lot of these are, I think, have like a little bit of spice and then just a lot of good stuff. But this list, I think, is just really hard to plan around. It's very hard to anticipate what he's going to first 5 against you. So this is another deck where I'm just like, screw it, I'm playing whatever I think my plan A is.
Yeah, all of the I mean, it's always interesting to look at decks. If you're used to decks in other card games because, like, I see Lorcana decks all the time now, and it's like 4 of every card
Yeah.
except for a couple 3 ofs, and then like you look at Ash's decks and it's like one 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 one
One of
2 2 1
everything.
1 1, and but that's why the first 5 mechanic is so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Because you can guarantee of any card you want in your opening hand, and you only need one of it in your deck to do that. And with only 30 card decks, and you know only 25 cards outside of your first 5, and you're going to draw 5 every round or close to 5 every round, having one card in your deck means a lot of games you're still going to see that card. Like, you don't necessarily need to go 3. So it's always cool to just look at like looking at Ash's decks just isn't the same as other games, and that's always been cool to me.
Very true. All right, last deck of the night before we get to a quick intermission with the nominations, and then we do the pod assignments. So this is Fred, the Wonderkind. He is bringing, I guess, a slightly updated list of something that we had built a while back. It's a Rin list. He's just been loving Rin. He's very good at managing Adaptodon and Turtle Garden and Ruin Dweller as like a package. And this one has Shroud in it as some extra protection against Ice Trap, which I think is really smart when you're running Adaptodon and Ruin Dweller. And then just a buttload of removal. Like, just this list is wild with removal. It's got a couple 1-ofs. It's got a Survival of the Fittest, which I assume is his answer to Paladin, and then everything else is just kill your board and punch through with the Dweller and Donnie, and then some burn. This list actually has more of a plan B than some of the other decks. So this has a little bit of board management with some burn.
I mean, what burn are we seeing? You got 2 Fire Archers and
Ruin Dweller?
I guess that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a ton here.
No, but it's Reach. He's got the bypass with Clashing Tempers as well, which is good. I think this is a solid list. I mean, the Shroud is really what helps it out against a lot of lists. And it's got a spicy Realm Walker open. It doesn't have the hunting weapons, unfortunately, Shpenny. But it's just, I think, lot of good stuff.
I will say, back to the weird lists thing, I think this is also open list tournament Ashes where, the 1-of Survival of the Fittest, until you see it hit the discard, like, you're gonna be thinking about it. So, like, those kinds of 1-ofs can really are very fun mind games for sure.
And the Shroud is kind of a cool mind screw too, right? In open lists, like, just by having it in the deck, like, am I going to start the Ice Trap, knowing that he's going to play Shroud and then get his guy down, or do I just not start the Ice Trap because I know Shroud is there, but then he doesn't open the Shroud? Like, there's a
you could have kind of like a Shroud versus Realm Walker pivot in your first 5. Honestly, it's like
and that Realm Walker fits in the first 5 with those 4 books,
right?
Which is kind of crazy when you think about it.
Well, not quite. You can't play you can't play either the Ruin Dweller or Turtle Guard, but it can if you wanted to pivot, if you wanted to hold it.
We don't have enough time dice. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I didn't have I was like scrolled down, so I couldn't see the dice spread anymore.
I think I think it's got a lot of play into what we've seen so far, and the Adaptodon is definitely good for the counter swarm lists. Turtle Guard is just generally good at protecting things, and it's cheap, and it's a really nice Rin target, especially with Shattering Fist. Does it? Oh yeah, and survival, right? It lives through survival, which is really cool. And it's
It's a read
great.
survival. Yeah, so
And if it's
having a divine die
exhausting,
attached to you does not protect you from survival of the fittest, which
No, but
right?
you just need
It,
alterations or tokens, right? Which exhaustion
yeah.
tokens count. So yeah, I've been messing around with our video a ton. So that's the list. That's the
Couple
collection.
yeah, a couple comments in the chat about the lack of chance of transfusion. Then not a single deck is running it, which a couple of sets ago we would have thought was complete heresy.
I
But
mean,
again,
okay,
this is Ashes, right? Everybody wants to play the new cards, except for Fred apparently. Oh, he has a shroud.
well, there's also only 18 of us, right? Like you can't
Yeah.
possibly cover all the different good lists. I mean, there's so many good lists now, and it definitely becomes somewhat rock paper scissory at this point. I think there's just so many things that are viable, and so you're trying to guess what is the meta going to be, but also have enough time to pick hopefully something that you're comfortable with. It's very
one
tough.
Herald, one. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Whole new
So,
world.
gotta call this out in the chat.
And only one no debt.
Age of the Clankomatics. Adaptodon is a much better card than Paladin. This deck will slap you.
Clank,
Hot
I
take,
like your
flexible.
I like your hot take. I want you got to be on stream more often, and hopefully you're in the Discord. We need opinions like yours in there. It's definitely different, and it's probably a strong contender in this current list of matchups. But Paladin is insanely good. So yeah, but
Y'all have a. Do y'all want to make any calls based on these lists? I know you're both playing,
sure.
so maybe it doesn't feel.
Well,
Underworld
I mean-
Swept has already won the tournament. It's over. He won already.
Yeah, and Killer's already said
Did
he
he?
has
No,
a
you have to
0%
play.
chance. So I think
Carl won. Who?
no Underrug playing a Demona Fallen, a Dragon Fallen.
Tournament's already over.
Yeah.
He's won.
All right, pick your top four. Like basically pick the top cut, the top four semifinals. Just the four list. It doesn't have to be the specific matchup.
I mean, if there were no pods, the top four is Underrug Swept, Carl, Matt, and Brian.
Okay.
Well, the top four players you just picked, right? By ranking.
Yes, that's what I did. I didn't even look at the decks.
It's
But
not.
I picked Carl, Matt, and Brian, and then the deck that's gonna win.
Okay.
I am rooting for Carl's deck because I have been playing around. I mean, on the one hand, it always makes me feel bad, but on the other hand, I always feel validated. Like, I've been trying to make Secret Door decks work in like my handful of Ashes games I've played since the new set came out, and I'm just glad to see someone serious. Cool.
Okay.
I want this thing to work so badly.
So that's one. You still got three others to pick. Carl and who else?
Oh, I'm just picking on the basis of who's got a cool deck. I could imagine a world where three Ramias are in the final. I think she's really good,
All right. Okay.
but that's kind of a wild call.
That is a little wild, but okay.
I also think Apple Sith has a really good shot.
Yeah, I was gonna pick
into
Apple
this
Sith.
meta as well.
I think the Astria is really well positioned. Carl's deck, I think, is really well positioned. Matt's deck is like the classic good stuff, and he pilots it incredibly well. And then Underrug, because I'm not sure many of these decks really have much against Dragon and Fallen together. So those would be my four. Which is pretty cool to think, Astria is an easy, like, oh yeah, put her in, and Ramia. Like, these are not, if you just told me the four Phoenixborn, Ramia, Astria, Demona, and who else did I pick?
Odette.
You pick
Odette,
Matt's
yeah.
Odette.
But like the other three would not be the ones a year ago that you would have said would be in the top, which is really exciting, and I think goes to show how well the design of the cards in Red Reigns has been, and how much the meta has shifted, but has also become more flexible with the change in the errata, the bans, and the card pool itself. So, commending Nick, pat on the back to so far. Lots of really cool stuff, and we still have a couple more to go, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Very cool.
imagine what people would have said if, like, 4 months ago, we would have said, yeah, when we do the world championships in a few months, the most represented Phoenixborn are going to be Remia and Vicky.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that, right? Like, I understand that Shadowfire and
The first thing you would have said is, "Oh, the illusion set came out." I think that's the first thing you'd say.
Well, also true. You're probably right, but it's just ridiculous. I mean, these were the two Phoenixborn that were at the bottom of the barrel forever.
Yeah.
That are that are now represented in a tournament where people are actually trying to win, even though I don't think Vicky is the best choice for this, but it's certainly the most fun, and I stand by it.
Always with the self-sabotage killer.
That's what I do, man. I'm gonna sit here and talk myself out of any possible winning and good finishing, and then if I somehow happen to do well, I'll be pleasantly surprised. Plan for the worst and hope for the best. That's my motto.
Amen.
Oh man, I can't do. Have any of you guys not? Oh wait, I might be able to get this. Okay, because the nominations was a Google Forms. I couldn't open it in my regular browser since I've already answered. So give me a second to switch over. Oh well, that's gonna just look terrible on screen.
I haven't submitted. Do you need me to open it for some reason?
Oh well, no, because then I won't know how to share. 1 second. Can I? If I can't figure this out in like a few seconds, then I'll just name them. It's like it just won't let me show the form. 1 second.
Age thinks I'll get second place. I mean, that is what I do usually.
Mm-hmm.
I have lots of second places.
Your first place in my heart.
Aw. You too, buddy.
It's exciting to see a Mayoni.
It's a mono charm.
I know,
which is wild.
a Manoni.
Kyle, I'd be willing to bet a lot of money that we don't see another Matt versus me final in a tournament this time. But I'm gonna try my damnedest.
My damnedest.
My damnedest. Well, I tried to say darndest, and then I decided, like, right at the end that I was okay saying the curse word, and I just said damnedest.
Gonna try my damnedest.
Like a mixed.
All right. This is.
I think I've played against this EB Fritz Koji deck.
Yeah.
Or a version of it, and it did not go well for me.
I mean,
but then I could have said that about any of the decks that EB Fritz has beaten me with, which is any of the decks he's played against me. So
I said that a lot about the Red King Rowan deck that's in here. I've played against that multiple times, and it's not gone well for me either.
All right. Is this big enough for people? I'm making it as big. Just let's go all in. Zoomed in. All right. So quick break before we decide on the pods. Rookie of the Year. So there were a lot of nominations, apparently. Actually, they're not all in, but you can see on screen. We have EB Fritz, Kyle, Julianne, and Maddie Maddox as the top four that you can vote for. Others that were nominated were the other Fritzes, Alfredo, and Dell.
Alfred.
Yeah.
The Fritzkrieg of Fritz's.
Yeah. It should have just been one vote for the whole family. You could share it. No, but seriously, I mean, EB Fritz, he came on the scene about a year ago, and he's just been such a great player. Is I think played a ton of very aggressive decks when the meta, like at a time when the meta had slowed down and things were shifting, and he just came in full blown with his Kojis and his Demonas. Kyle, I met him for the first time at Gen Con. I know, Killer, you brought him into the scene away from the Mickey Mouse cards, and he's gotten a couple top cuts, which is really impressive.
In some rough fields too. I mean, he top 6 or something at Gen Con, and that field was completely stacked.
Yep.
As was all the other online tournaments that we play.
He's also the one who said he shouldn't be nominated.
So yeah, Kyle, he's more humble than I am, which is, well, I'm not very humble at all, but I just talk about how much I suck all the time. But Kyle is extremely humble. He won't say that he deserves it, but he does.
Jolene W, I don't think I've played against them. So my knowledge of the styles of their decks is not up to par. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the tournament results with them, or if you've played them in, I don't know, LKA or any of the others.
I've played Julian in a couple of at least Phoenix League games, but I've not played in Phoenix League for a long time. But in the beginning of the season when I was playing a lot, I played her a few times. And I think she's Brankus's partner.
Okay.
And she plays at the beginning played a bunch of burn, very similar to, she was very Brankusy, but she likes mill quite a bit. And I was messaging with Brankus back and forth a little bit on a couple different mill decks for her to try early on when she was just getting started. And so I'm not surprised to see her settle on kind of a mill based Maoni, actually a mill and burn, right, Maoni deck with the Venom Strike stuff. So it's a very Brankusy mill deck, and that's on brand, I think.
There you go. And Matty Maddox, another one who did really well at Gen Con, who I met at Gen Con, and I forget which list are they? Did they bring the list?
No, I don't think Matty Maddox is qualified, or if they are, they didn't submit.
Yeah, I've seen them in Phoenix League, and I guess maybe just didn't have enough wins, or didn't have the time to submit. But another solid rookie of the year, and it's exciting.
I believe they might be on the bubble. I believe they might be on the bubble.
Like Fritz is saying that Matty top cut at AIL.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Which I think is, and now that I remember that now.
Yeah. So and I mean the other nominees are also like, Dell has been doing really well. The other Fritzes, I think all three Fritzes did really well in various tournaments, as well as the team tournament, and of course Alfred. Who can hate on Alfred? He is forever a rookie. If he just had, like, I don't know, a spoonful of confidence, then maybe he would do better. Just stop knocking and playing 150 games with nominee. Alfred, get out there and play some
He's
good
nominated
stuff.
For Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nominee.
What would we do without you, Schmanny? Most improved player of the year. So this only came down, I guess, to 2 picks out of 4. So we have EB Fritz, Brian. I'm assuming this is Brian B. We don't have any other Brians. Ninja Dance Matt with 2 T's. Who is this? Imposter, and Abby. These are very solid improved player choices as far as Ninja and Abby go. Abby I think she's more of a quiet killer when she's played in Phoenix League or other things. She's been building a lot of really interesting lists. She's been more active in the Discord, and just generally improved her play a lot from what I can vaguely remember from last year. And of course, Ninja. I mean, I don't even know where he was in the list, but at one point he was probably in like the top 20, and then all of a sudden, I think he was at the top of the list, number 1 this year or number 2. I don't really track those things anymore, but he's won like every legendary knockout arena, or at least made it to the finals in every legendary knockout, and also to every other tournament that's sort of been running. I think I've streamed him multiple times in semis and finals, so he's been hot stuff this year.
Yeah, he's had a very good year, and Abby's decks are always super creative and really fun to see and watch and play against.
She's
So that's
got a lot of really cool ideas, and she keeps iterating on them, which I really like. And so I'm hoping
I don't care for that.
Yeah. Kyle pointing out that she had a really good run in one and done, and I remember that now.
It's the sign of a really good deck builder. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a tournament that rewarded those creative deck builds, and yeah, she was fantastic in that one.
For sure. All
I
right.
feel like I'm primed for a most improved player run in 2025.
Yeah, you just need to actually
Just
play.
not playing.
Yeah. Didn't play in 2024, 2025. He started doing stuff.
Yeah.
All right, contributor of the year. So this was an award for just anybody, whether it's articles, community, tournament running, anything like that. So we've got several nominees: Dijon, Skak, the team, us, yay, and then individually myself, Killer, and Ninja Dance Mat. I'm assuming Ninja because he's been just doing a bang up job writing all of those articles, and he finally fixed the mobile app somewhat, so that's also a nod to him. So what do you think, Killer? Are you happy to be nominated?
I mean, I'm happy to be nominated. I don't understand why I'm on here, but I'm happy to be there.
Okay.
I think that
I feel like it is a relatively low out. Yeah, I feel like low output year for you. I feel like usually you're like writing decks. You know, like why haven't you written a deck for every song in a hit musical this year, Killer? Like, what's going on?
You should have come out with the song before nominations.
Yeah, I will have my annual Christmas Carol, but
Okay, good.
I've been very, very, very bad at not quite bad at building decks. I did build quite a bit when the Divine set came out and when the Illusion set came out. I just didn't share them like I used to. I was holding stuff close to the vest. I don't know.
And this is why I can't play. I don't have any of your decks to just take and use.
Or maybe if there were comments and likes and subscribes earlier on in the year. Now there are now. There are comments, and I think the subscriptions are done. So we just need likes, and then the Ashes world is going to take off. Everyone's going to be submitting their decks for critique.
I mean, the Ashes world is going to take off in the next few months. That's a true statement.
That's true.
I think there's some really cool things coming for Ashes. But
Ninja Dance Mat's articles have been really good. I have even read them. They've broken through.
Even me.
Even I.
Mr. Grey Poupon has read the lowly articles.
Not what I meant. I've just not, as you pointed out, been as engaged as usual.
All right, we've got Auric, Person of the Year. Killer was nominated. Dijon, I nominated again. Also nominated for, Auric Person of the Year. Also nominated for Contributor of the Year. Underrug, and then so this whole category was about like on a day-to-day basis, who is a person that you just enjoy your interactions with the most in the community. I think that was along how Carl described it. And so we've got Charlotte, Shadowfire, myself, and Red King nominated, which I'm kind of surprised that I was nominated for this. I mean, I really would have thought the sarcasm at this point had pushed more people away.
Drive everybody away.
But the rest of the list, I mean, Charlotte is just so sweet. She, lovingly call her the mom of our Discord. She was really great to meet at Gen Con. I had a great time talking with her and hanging out with her for the whole Ashes Day, and then later in the evening when we played all those. What was the game called again? The Hex one?
Oh,
HeroScape. HeroScape, yeah. So that was a lot of fun. Red King, I know I'm not in this, time zone that is good to play with him. But he is always a pleasure. I think he supports a lot of the players in the other part of the world that are active when I'm asleep. And I know for sure that he's got some close relationships with a few players where he's really helped them out with their deck building and their playing, like Alfred. And so it's good to see him up there as well. And Shadowfire, I think, has always been a pleasure. And it's also great that this year he ran the team tournament, which is really cool.
It was great. I really enjoyed the team tournament.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I agree.
We've got, Deck Builder of the Year, the coveted award. And this year, finally, Carl can't win. What is it, like 4 years in a row he was winning? Underrug was also up there. And then we've got Brian, Red King, Matt, Ninja, and EB Fritz. What do you guys think of these nominations?
I think these are all good. I mean, contrary to what you just said, there has been a different deck builder of the year every year.
I know.
But Red King's already won, but I mean, he builds more decks than anybody, so he deserves to be on here. Brian and Matt are the two that, I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from Ninja or Fritz, but because they've built some really innovative and cool stuff this year. Brian and Matt are constantly building stuff, and they play so well that you don't really that their deck building is also crazy good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's one of those things, but yeah, I think all 5 of these people could easily win deck builder of the year this year. We talked about Fritz and a lot of his really aggressive rushdown decks, but I mean, he's another person that I played online a lot this year when I was actually playing, and he just seemed to always be around in the 3 p.m. Eastern place where I just got burnt out at work for a little bit and needed a 15-minute break and would jump online right around 3 p.m. and he's always there. Played against him in a lot of games, and he had a lot of really cool, innovative things. And Ninja's just had such a good playing year with a lot of different deck builds, kind of mainly that Astria burn that he pioneered. So yeah, really all awesome nominations, I think.
For sure. I would have nominated Waves too if he had been a little bit more active this year, because he's always got really cool.
He's a great deck builder.
Decks. Yeah. And then we've got Ash's card of the year, which I don't think is too much of a surprise to see Silver Paladin there. Molten Gold, because it was banned, the only one and only that was too good to be kept around, and Royal Charm, which Carl has repeatedly says he thinks is the real sauce behind Paladin and all these other synergies that we've seen. So yeah, those are sort of expected. I'm gonna move on finally to the last category, which is a new category that we've never had and is something that I think we should have had. But this is the Hall of Fame, and I think it's
a lifetime achievement award. Don't you have to retire if you get this?
I mean, I looked at this and I'm like, oh, just choose only 5. I'm just gonna click the box for all of them. Tons of people were nominated. So I know that Elliot, I believe, was one of the early 1.0 players. We've got Red King,
Yeah.
German, of course, who lifetime of
Oh,
contributions.
so these
especially
people have
Argos.
retired.
Yeah, some of them.
It was
Couple of them.
German.
Killer, Isaac himself. One of us knows Isaac. Carl,
Someone
Brian,
knows that guy.
Matt,
He
Dijon.
constantly talks
Stack.
about us, the one of us who does.
And
Yeah.
it was actually really nice to see the Shuffle Bus team also nominated, and then Nick and Chaos Theory as well. Just all around top people in the community, people who have kept the community running these many years. You can't really pull out any one of these people and say that the community would be the same, or even that the game would be possible. In some of these cases, like none of us would be playing on Ash Techie. None of us would have decks to import without Dijon and Skak. We never would have had tournaments without the Shuffle Bus guys starting and carrying it on their shoulders for so many years. So this is just really a great list of people to see, and obviously it's got the three greatest players. Probably inarguably, but I'll say arguably just in case it offends anyone. Yeah, so very cool.
I'm offended.
Yeah, I figured you would be. All right.
The three greatest players besides Schmendrix.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I mean,
I'm not saying I
it-
am. I'm just offended. That's all I'm saying. I'm just offended.
You can't lose if you don't play, right?
Yeah.
Let's quickly do the pods. I think let's see if this is possible. Carl left me instructions, and it's basically a snake draft using the wheel of names. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
do this.
Pods are only valid if one of the pods is Underrug Swept, Apple Sith, Matt, and Carl.
1 second here. Let me.
That's not one of the pods. It doesn't count.
Well, based off of how it looks, none of those they'll all be in different pods. Oh man! Of course, now my computer's crashing. So how do I? One of you guys? Oh no! There we go. Pull it up.
Got it.
Yeah.
Mike
It's
Maddox wants to know what the heck is a pod.
I like this guy.
It's a
Yeah.
vehicle
Person.
from-
I guess I don't know if it's a guy.
Yeah, a pod is a
Good
vehicle
vibes.
from Star Wars Episode 1 that you get in and drive around in a circle and make really weird noises and dialogue from.
Good one.
Good. Yeah. Very
Yeah.
good. All right. I've got to put in some names here. Okay. So this is why these players have secured not being in the same pod as each other. We've got Brian, Ninja, Carl, and Bowman. Will each be in a different pod. So I'm just gonna spin. Ooh, it's got a little clicky.
Why is that? Is that like because of their ranking or something?
I think so. Yeah, placements or
Because
number.
they qualified more times than
The
everybody else
number
or
of
something? Okay.
invites.
Got it.
All right. So first up, Pod A is going to be with Ninja. And if I zoom in for you guys, this might be a little bit better. Nothing like spreadsheets when you're streaming and it's in whatever size 2 font. And then do I just click again? Oh yeah. Can I end this animation quicker? Brian. All right. So Brian is Pod B. Oh God. And then between Bowman and Carl. And my computer's starting to choke with all of this.
Gonna close
All
some
right.
stuff.
So then it's that was kind of convenient. Carl and then Bowman. All right. So then in the second spinning of the wheel, we're going backwards now. We've got EB Fritz, Inquisitor, No Such, Underrug, Apple, Sith, and Killer. So it's going to snake backwards, and we'll see who is in. Well, Pod D is secured. Fred is automatically in there. I don't know why that was the case, but it is. So No Such is going to be in the pod with Carl. And next is going to be, so who's in the pod with Brian? Oh, Killer.
Yay. Fate reflection.
Tell us how you really feel.
Glad I brought
Karma.
all these keepsakes.
Joked
to get
about it too
thrown in.
much.
Fate reflections.
Aren't you, Vicky? I mean, just both down, baby.
Yeah, I'll spin them down. Don't worry, they're fine. I'm just complaining. No reason.
All right, Inquisitor is in the pod with Ninja. Wow, this website, the animations are like just eating up my RAM. We've got Fritz is also in that pod. And so then the last one is to see who is in pod B. Underrug. Which means that Apple is in pod C.
Who else is in B? Is that my pod?
Yeah, so it's Brian, you, and Underrug.
Okay, so I clearly lose. Awesome.
So you get the Fallen.
So excited.
Oh,
yeah.
Come on, I believe in you.
I don't.
And we've got.
But thank you.
So wait, does I after do wheel 2, after wheel 2 do wheel 3, and then there are only 2 players left. Okay, so I've done this correct so far, but I haven't screwed it up. Can I copy paste these names, or do I have to type because it's so friggin' slow? Okay.
This kind of performance is not going to get us into any Hall of Fame quote when we retire from podcasting about this.
Doing my best. Yeah, no. I need a better rig for this stuff. All right. So Abby Brankus. If I need to figure out is it Jolene or if it's French like Julien. Shadow.
I don't know. Our viewers have went down from 14 down to 5.
That's fine. No one cares about their
baby.
waves.
Yeah, the whole. I think the stream is frozen.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, or it's at least cutting in and out. That's why people are dropping off.
Okay. Well, it's because of this damn website. People can pay attention after. All right. Yeah. Can you guys still see the? I'm still moving, but I'm just slow. All right, here we go. Who is in pod D? It's definitely slowing my machine, but I can't do anything about it. Brankus. All right. And next up, we've got.
Lycomatics is like, what's going on? The stream is dead.
Yeah, no, I can't.
This is the high quality production value that you come to expect from.
I wonder if it'll. Well, I wonder if it'll record, and still be okay later. If it's just completely.
I don't know. This is why we say at the end of every episode, if you're not janky, you're stanky. Okay, this is super janky, and it is not stanky at all.
We smell great.
Yeah.
All right. Can you guys see anything?
On good production value, get the shuffle bus back. No, the stream is frozen
fully. So it's this website basically crapped me out.
Fritz just said the Fallen are too powerful for OBS. I agree.
Oh God. All right. Well, so is Shadow, Jolene. Yeah, this is killing my computer. This website.
You just
Can you guys remember the
turn
order?
off the animation.
No. I cannot remember the order.
Oh, I stopped paying attention minutes ago.
Why the hell do we still have you
Yes.
on then?
I heard I was in a pod with Fallen, and I completely gave up all hope that I had, if I had any. I wasn't listening either.
Oh, it says encoding overloaded. Consider turning down video settings. I mean, I could. Does that? But I don't know if that'll just melt
Let's
the
all turn
stream.
our cameras off.
Yeah, sure. Do that. Get out of here.
And we're off.
Really?
I don't know
Turn
if
you
that
guys
helps or
off.
not,
Does
but-
that help? If I just make you guys disappear? Oh, that does make things faster. Only the truth. I just had to get rid of you guys. Oh, does it cut out your audio? Oh, it does. Wait 1 second. If I bring you back, it might be better. Who's still showing? Schmetty, you're still showing your video. Cut your video out. Yeah. All right. We've got Abby. And oh no, wait. Sorry, that wasn't Abby. Didn't spin. Oh, fuck me. Sorry, I should not have said that on stream. Oh, okay, good. Red King. Woo! Avoided the death pool. All right. Sorry, this was... Who did I say? Red King? Yeah, Red. Sure. Well, I literally, like, I can't even type. This is, it's so bad. All right, Red King. Quickly, let's get through this. All right, Abby, Pod A. And then, I guess, Pod A again. Find out, so... Me. Okay, so Abby and I, which means that Waves is in the Pod B. All right. Fred is locked in as the second player in Pod D. Skip over that selection when there are only 2 players. Randomize the pods. Oh. Sure. So this was Waves. Carl says, well, I'm not sure why the pods are randomized, I guess in terms of who matches up with who. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Carl, are you still on here? If Carl is still on here, he could explain, maybe. Can't really cut it. Yeah, it is what it is. It would not be the Jankyard without something going wrong. Yeah, can never have. All right, I got it all. Now all of a sudden, it was literally that website. I closed that website, and boom, I can actually type without this thing crashing my computer. So, all right. I think it's honestly just the fact that I'm running OBS. I'm running a browser with whatever, a million animations in that stupid wheel of names, and then running 2 streams of video. And this laptop it's pretty old. So yeah. Not to mention these days, like just a browser and your operating system take up 6 gigs or whatever. So there you go. So these are, I don't understand the last 2, how this works out. Oh no, it's because every pod has 4, but there's pod A and B now have the extra 2 players. And then I'm just going to leave it to Carl to randomize. So just for people who could only hear me and couldn't see me before, we've got Pod A, which is Ninja, Inquisitor, EB Fritz, Abby, and myself. We've got Pod B, which is Brian, Killer, Underrug, Red, King, and Waves. And Pod C, which is Carl, No Such Method, Applesith, and Jolene. And Pod D, which is Bowman, Fred, Brankus, and Shadow. So that is the collection. That's the tournament. You've seen the decks. You've seen the pods. Now you get to plan your scheduling and mind game your first 5. How about that? We did it, guys. Don't forget to vote for the nominations. I'm gonna pull back the no, I probably can't. Can I pull back webcam? You guys could come back on camera now. If you wanted to. Turn your cameras back on. I'm gonna. That's okay. No one wants to see you anyway. Well, we've got Shmeny at least on scene. Let me figure out. So that was it, guys. How do you feel about this tournament?
Write me some code to parse the recaps so I can make some charts. Or just use the data that comes in.
I'm gonna go 0-4 in my pod. But
I screwed up the randomize. I was supposed to randomize who Abby and which pods we end up in.
I have a feeling you're gonna go more like 2 and boo hoo hoo.
2 and boo hoo hoo.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 wins and bitch about it a lot.
Yeah.
Are you talking about me or Killer? I mean, both of us are gonna bitch about it.
Killer.
Both of us are gonna bitch about it.
We do. It's what we do, man. It's what people come here for.
I think it's gonna be exciting no matter what. I'm really hoping that somebody, whether it's one of you two, both of you two, Ninja, whoever the heck wants to be on stream and commentate these games, because it's open list. That's what I was really excited about, is that any of these games now, we don't have to wait until semifinals or finals. Just if you want to be on stream, if you can make it work with my nightly Eastern schedule, then that works. Let me know. And if you can't, set up OBS. Do it. Get on the Ashes. What did I call it? The Arc. Get on that channel. I'll give you the credentials. But we did it. That was a.
We did it, guys.
Thank you.
It's gonna be fun
for organizing.
Yeah, thanks very much, sir.
Nah, Clanks. I'm not
Waves.
randomizing.
What the heck is with Pod B? I don't know, man.
I'm not doing that. I'm happy not being in Pod B. The randomizing is not happening at this point. This is, I think, no matter what, the competition is going to be intense. The competition.
Kyle's in the chat Kyle's on Team Cactus. That makes one of us. Thanks, Kyle. I appreciate the support.
We're gonna cover a bunch of these games, and the winner shall be crowned. I'm assuming, but we're aiming to finish before Christmas. So it's gonna be an aggressive schedule. So get your games in, play your heart out, and be crowned the winner. And for any of you who haven't voted, this guy right here, Brankus of the Year. I'm going for it. I'm playing Jessa.
Nominated for that?
It's just me and him.
Me and Brank? I missed that. Well, I don't know. I missed that one. Okay.
What is Brankus of the Year? I thought that was just Rookie of the Year.
No, it's whoever embodies Brankus the most. This is completely different, man. Yeah.
What do you have to do to embody Brankus?
Well, you can't be playing Ramia, that's for sure.
He's playing Ramia. Isn't he playing Ramia in the tournament?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You can't play Ramia if you want to be
playing
Brankus of the
Burn.
year. You got to play Burn. I'm playing Jessup Burn. That makes me the number one. All right. This is getting silly. It's getting
Both
late.
down.
We've
Frog
lost
out.
a bunch.
I'm tired and
Lying around. Lying on.
stressed and need to go to bed.
We'll
Snake out.
bitch more on future streams. Line on.
There you go.
Horse around.
Line on. Little power.
Turtle power.
We did it. Have a great night, guys.
All right. Good night, guys. See you.
Ciao.